The Baku Open is a 9 round Swiss tournament happening in Baku, Azerbaijan, where the top players of the world are playing. Not the absolute top, but still the top level. Even Hans Niemann is playing there. In round 5, the 17-year-old WGM Divya Deshmukh faced Timur Gareyev, also known as the Blindfold King. He's a GM, 2617 rated. 2372 versus 2617. Divya was black, and in the game, knight f3 was played by Timur, pawn d5, pawn g3, and knight c6. So Timur has played the king's Indian attack, where he's going to fianchet to the bishop and castle. d4, bishop f5, and bishop g2. e6, castles, and knight b4. So Divya has played something that's similar to the Jobava London, where the knight has come in early. Usually the knight doesn't come in front of the pawn, but the knight has come in early with the idea of knight b4, which she plays. Now the opening becomes very complicated. It's totally chaos now. c4, knight c2. So Timur has allowed knight c2, but after takes, Timur plays e4. So he's going to get the knight back, right? He'll be an exchange down, but he'll get some pawns and enough compensation for the exchange because Divya's king will be stuck in the middle because she has not developed. So she plays bishop takes. So Timur is basically opening up lines towards the king. He takes on e6, she takes back, and now knight c3. The bishop goes to take on f3 and takes, and Timur has a bishop pair. Black has underdeveloped pieces and unsafe king, and Timur will probably pick up the knight. So Divya plays knight f6, quickly developing, and now bishop takes b7. So what is the material situation? Divya is up by a rook right now for a pawn. So she will also lose the knight. So she will be up an exchange for one pawn. That's enough compensation for the GM. Rook b8, bishop check, king f7. Pawn d5. So white's idea is just to open up lines towards the king. Till now, it's actually theory. And they might have even prepared till here, both of them. But here, Divya plays a move that has not been played before. The main move here is takes, and after queen f3, white still has enough compensation against the black king. But Divya plays e5. Probably her preparation ended here. She closes out the sender somewhat, and now bishop g5, rook b4. A nice rook lift. Queen e2, queen c8, preparing to bring out the queen either to f5 or g4. White will pick up the knight. You can't take the pawn now because the knight escapes. So takes, queen g4, queen takes, and bishop d6. So Divya has finally completed her development. And here Timur makes a decision to go to the endgame, queen e6. Now, who is actually better in this endgame? Again, let's see the material. Divya has an exchange up at the cost of one pawn, and she is putting pressure on b2 right now. King safety is not really a problem. The king needs to be active. The bishop pair is there for white. So it's still in the balance. Rook check, king moves, and rook e2, defending the b2 pawn. Now Divya plays pawn h6, bishop back, and bishop e5. Takes on a7, takes, and rook c4. So Divya gets back the pawn. So still an exchange up for a pawn, but white bishops look really nasty. So that gives white enough counterplay. Bishop d4, rook check, king moves, and rook comes in. Bishop e3, the rook moves back, and rook b2, keeping all the pieces defended. So white is slightly on the back foot, but as long as the pieces are defended, he should be fine. But something unfortunate happens to Timur in the next few moves. So Divya just holds on bishop e2 and then king g8. So she wants to hide her king because the bishop pair are a nasty pair of pieces. So bishop f4, knight d6. So this is a nice rerouting of the knight because the knight is better on d6 square, defended by a pawn, and the rook can do other things now. Bishop e7, rook moves, bishop b4, rook moves, and bishop d1. So he's trying to play bishop b3 and get the bishop to this nice diagonal. Divya tried to stop it till now, but the bishop was very adamant on doing it. Here, king h8, preparation against bishop b3, prophylaxis. Bishop b3 anyway, and now knight f5. Heading to the nice d4 square is Divya. Pawn h4, rook b8, and here pawn a3. So this was a slight mistake from the GM. So the correct move would have been just bishop d2. This setup was good here. There was no need to push it to a3 because when you push it to a3, ideas of c5 after rook d6, c5 comes in. So this was the better setup to have. All he had to do was just keep the pieces active, just keep the bishops active. So he plays a3, and that's a big mistake. And now Divya plays rook d6. Here it's already difficult. c5 is a threat, right? And how do you deal with it? So Timur plays bishop c2, attacking the knight. And here, if Divya saves the knight, white will also get the rook out of the way, and there's no pin, right? So Divya plays knight takes h4, and after takes, she plays c5. So she has the advantage now because a lot of exchanges will happen. For king g3 takes, and takes. So this was again a big mistake by Timur actually. Here, after takes, so here instead of king g3, Timur should have just played rook b3. And after takes, just bishop e4, keeping the bishop on the diagonal. And if takes, then rook takes, and this is holdable because the bishop is strong enough. And there's a rook also to help. But in the game, what happened was he played king g3, and now after takes, the pawn's hanging, right? And you can't really go rook a2 because in b3. So he has to go rook takes pawn, and after the exchange of everything, this position is a winning position, and Divya converts without any problem. She gets a king in, king tries to get in, the rook comes back. So there is some shuffling of pieces. So she's basically trying to get the king in over here, but white stops it. So rook keeps an eye on the pawn, bishop goes back, and then bishop moves, and here rook check, king moves, and Divya comes back, bishop g6, rook e7, and if you play f5, then the king gets this square. So that's why Timur is not playing that. Bishop h7, king moves again, bishop g8, and after rook e8, bishop f7, she played rook f8, and here Timur resigned because he's going to lose the f4 pawn, and the defenses have been breached. And this is how Divya Deshmukh, the 17-year-old, had scored a brilliant victory against a GM, a 2617 GM, Timur Gareyev.